Welcome to another project management show. Like any other project management show, the idea of this show is to give some GAN on the project management, especially to the aspiring project professionals as well as seasoned project professionals, how to learn from the project professionals or the practitioners of the projects and learn from that. Today I have Pooja Arambhan with me, and Pooja, let me give a very, because her profile is completely different than normally what we the speakers on the show. So she is the youngest vice chairman of FICCI ladies organization, which is called the FLO of Mumbai chapter. And so I will ask Pooja only to give the more details about that. What is exactly that, and more than that, in addition to that, she has launched a new product as a startup, and it's a coincidence that in just few days she will be launching her product, a very innovative product in healthcare sector. Again, she will explain what is that, and we'll have some conversation on that. And the entire idea is that how she got this idea and how she reached to this stage of launch, because this is like a project. So we discuss about various aspects of this real project. Okay, so Pooja, welcome to this show, and let me ask you that what is like you like, as I understand that you are a youngest vice chairman of this ladies organization from FICCI. So can you just explain about that?
Thank you, Mr. Pradhan, for having me on this show. I know I'm not your usual suspect on this channel, but that's exactly how I've broken barriers in my trajectory. So to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm the co-founder and CEO of iiV Health Solutions. It's a women-led preventive health tech startup, and we've developed the world's first non-invasive smart device for early screening and detection of peripheral artery disease, which we're launching very soon, as you mentioned. And as the youngest vice chairperson of FICCI FLO Mumbai, I want to tell you that we're doing some amazing work. We're a 40-year-old organization and Southeast Asia's largest entrepreneurial network for women.
Wow.
So we look at everything from upskilling to youth empowerment to women's empowerment. And as a National Startup Committee member for FICCI FLO, where we have 19 chapters and 10,000 plus members,
Wow.
we're developing an overall ecosystem of entrepreneurs, investors, and mentors to be able to close the gap for women in top leadership positions, whether it is through your entrepreneurial journey or whether you want to commence your journey into investing in startups, or to provide your experience and knowledge through our various programs. We actually recently tied up with Virginia Tech for certified mentorship program.
That's
So
very impressive.
that's what we do.
That's very impressive. And Pooja, since this show is on project management, and since you are launching a new product through your startup, there are some. I mean, this especially we can dedicate this show to the startup, because a lot of startups, the entire culture in India currently is startup, and we have the largest unicorns in India. So, in this context, we will go in stages, because in project management we always have 5 stages: initiating, planning, monitoring and control, execution, and closing. These are the 5 stages of the project. So first we'll start with the first phase, that is initiating. That is how you got this idea, and till this launch of the project, what exactly you did, because even though there are the idea is there, it is very difficult to actually do the execution and everything, doing it on time. So how you manage that?
That's a very loaded question, considering we've had, as a tech startup, we've had a long runway. It's been a 5-year long runway. And as you mentioned, there are various stages, and we are at a time where there are brilliant ideas out there. The entire ecosystem is very conducive for startups, but the point is, how do you execute? How do you bring it on ground? And how do you, like you mentioned, through various steps, ensure that the project sees the light of the day and profitability, right?
That's true.
So for us, what happened was, in a very simple manner, my father has been a diabetic for about 40 years now. And we've gone through peripheral artery disease very closely. We've seen it with my father having lost his toe in a random freak accident in Paris airport when a trolley hit his toe. And what's startling is, he was to lose almost his half his leg from below his knee. And my mum and God saved the day, and he ended up just losing the toe. But the key point here was that just 24 to about 30 months earlier, he had 3 heart attacks and was in and out of the hospital, and nobody told him that he should check his feet and he should be conscious of diabetic foot ulcers, of a peripheral artery disease. Now, that obviously led us thinking and questioning a whole lot of things. And of course, my dad's a first generation serial entrepreneur, and he's always been ahead of time. He's my mentor as well and my co-founder. And he's had an office in Israel for about more than 3 decades now, and is into various businesses. So in 2018, in the Bridge to Innovation program, with both governments, the Israel and the Indian government, they decided to start 6 projects, 6 pilots in agriculture, health and water. So our company, A&G Partners, my father's company, was chosen to mentor and manage the program. And which basically meant we had 384 applications fall into our lap.
Wow.
And so I would say we were at the right time, right place, knew that there was a gap that needed to be addressed, and picked an opportunity and a technology that would have a growing market and is the need of the hour, and something that we were closely passionate towards as well. So picked our partners, did a full technology transfer to today we're launching the product. But the point is, we had to see if there was a product market fit. If this was something that would survive the test of time, if there was a growing market for it, were the conditions in India conducive to bringing this sort of technology here today? Were we going to be ahead of time again? These were a lot of questions that we grappled with, and did a whole lot of research. We had 3 research agencies appointed to assist us with this, to finally come up with where we are today. So I think ideating has to be structured and reach out for help through mentors, through agencies, and to ensure that you have a bright product market fit is something that is of absolute importance and relevance, I would say.
Super. So now, once the idea was decided, once you decided to launch the product and everything, then the next stage is, of course, the execution. Where you need to launch actual launching the product. So, which involves number of steps, and then you have to decide the timeline, the estimation of time, estimation of cost. So budget, that means. So whole lot of activities are involved, okay, to reach actual final, like what you are doing on 15th of August. So just explain the entire journey, like how you did that.
So I'd start with, for me, I think passion in this project is really important, in anything generally, but especially in this one, because we're looking at making a major impact and saving limbs, saving lives, helping people probably avoid heart attacks, which is right now we see a spate of them happening in people below age 45. So I would think that what we first did was we needed a team. There's nothing that we could do just ourselves. So finding people who bought into the idea, bought into the passion that we shared, and obviously realized the long-term goal. We obviously had a shoestring budget. We were bootstrapped, so I needed to ensure that people bought into the passion, bought into where we want to go, so that we were able to probably negotiate better terms,
Right.
so that we could bring in their expertise onto our journey at the various aspects of where we were, whether it was on the research front, on ideation, on strategy, on being on our technical advisory board. So these were things that we had to innovate and think out of the box as well. So I would say think very, very closely about who's joining the journey with you, because that makes a very big difference. At what stage do you want them to join the journey with you? Realizing that as a founder, there will be many times that you will be spread very, very thin, right? So, basic things about, making your goals, aligning your goals of where you think you want to be. Like you mentioned, having clear timelines, working backwards, knowing what balls to drop, how to continue staying on track. These were things that we continue to do and still do every day. Like every morning, we have a daily stand-up meeting with our team that is spread across the country, as well as in Israel and USA. So it's important communication, everybody understanding the goal, understanding the direction that you're going to take, reaffirming that time and again. And I definitely feel the mission and passion is something that brought us together and helped people see the timelines that we wanted to achieve. And of course, persistence and consistency is key, because it's very easy to sort of, like I said, get spread too thin, realize you have a lot on your plate, and maybe not keep on track. So to be able to measure various tools that you bring to the table, or just simply find what works for you.
Yeah, so how I can sum up like what you just mentioned in project management parlance is the project team is very important. So identifying the right roles for the team members, motivating them to do their job. Tools like techniques you just mentioned, like stand-up meeting is a very important technique. We always teach the team members to follow that. I think you were doing that, and it's very important communication tool, so that all the team members are aligned with the overall flow of the activities and the timelines and so on. So I think as a project professional, I can say that you did a right thing of doing the communication and doing a constant communication, because many times the project fails because they are not able to communicate properly, or the team is not aligned because they are not communicating properly. So I think you did that job rightly. Okay. Another question to you is that how you anticipated the uncertainties, what we normally call in our parlance is the risk management. So something you can talk about that,
Yeah.
how you identified something.
First, I want to thank you for always being a great guide. For every time we've probably anticipated or not anticipated a problem in our trajectory. So you've always been a great guide, great mentor, to be able to help us be on track.
Thank
So
you.
that's something that I have to acknowledge. The second thing is, my dad keeps saying what gets measured gets managed, which is why we also have a screening device.
Very important.
And I think that's a universal principle for everything.
Correct.
So, like I said, whether you use a sophisticated tool or you're simply mind mapping, but being able to assess all of those moving parts on maybe simply put it down on paper, think it through, give it thought, because again, thinking is not a very natural process, right? So giving it enough of thought, anticipating the best and the worst, because we're always wanting to see the best happen, but anticipating things that could hit you from the dark. I think we spent a lot of time thinking about those aspects, because they were charted down, because we used tools to help us, and spoke with various stakeholders, and of course had guidance from professionals as yourself.
Okay, okay. And Pooja, have you used any project management tools, especially for this project?
So we use a basic Microsoft PMP software, and then of course we're also mind mapping. So I want to say that I think that helps us, because the mind maps help us put it into the PMP software, and that's what we do right now.
Yeah. So let me, because as Pooja mentioned, I was involved in this project to some extent, and I know that how the Alfred, Pooja's father, who was instrumental in this entire journey, as well as Pooja and her team, they were involved. So they have used the simple tools like Excel very effectively. Okay, and then they like she mentioned that the first step is measurement. Like you measure, then you can achieve the target. And at every stage, they were mapping the activities on timeline, and then they were trying to achieve that target. And that's why I think you were able to achieve those milestones so effectively.
Yes.
Okay, I think that is one of the very important element. Another aspect which I would like to ask you on the stakeholder management, because you are dealing, when it's a project, then you are dealing with not only with your own team members, but you are dealing with so many external stakeholders. So what was your experience in this? Like dealing with the government agencies, approving agencies, uh, maybe subject matter experts, and so on, so on. I mean, this is a big list.
So I'm going to first give you a very out of the box answer. I think a lot of startups understand everything in terms of profitability, product market fit, all of this TAM, SAM, SOM, all of these. But I think what people don't realize, or the tools that are really missing, is people management and culture of an organization. So I feel that those are really, really important aspects to any company or to any relationship for that matter. So and of course, very early in my journey, my father said soft skills are the most important.
Right.
So we focused on that, on people management skills. Because I think building relationships is how you can move forward. Those are
Correct.
long lasting. Whether you are able to forge a business relationship out of it, yes, maybe not, but at least like they say, your network is your net worth. And but how do you come about that? Just purely through relationships. The second thing I want to address is we also had to keep on track. We had a consultant who took charge of our daily standard meetings. Every morning, who I have to definitely give credit to, because she was very instrumental in keeping us on track. Keeping, there are certain stakeholders, like you said, there are so many moving parts. Sometimes they fall into the background because you're focusing on maybe a task A or a task B. So keep mapping out the stakeholders, having somebody solely in charge of the project, with the bird's eye view, and fine tuning everything. Sitting little bit with a stick and saying, hey, what about this or what about that? That really helped us to manage stakeholders too. The other aspect, I think, is, again, if you map it out, I don't think that there is a possibility of letting something fall between the cracks. Of course, there's nothing 100%, but definitely mapping your stakeholders, people management, soft skills, and having somebody who's purely looking at it from a level of the control of the project is something that's most important, that help us keep our stakeholder management in place.
One more question is on the cost management or budget, because in such projects, like when you are not clear about the product, because nothing is concrete, okay, and you are coming out with a complete new concept, and then you are launching the product. So budget has actually no meaning, because you do based on some estimation, but then things can suddenly go out of the control, and then
Say the pandemic. The pandemic was
correct.
really set us behind about a year.
So I was about
Supply
to come to
chain
that, exactly.
shortages. Yeah.
So how you manage that? The cost.
How
part
I
of the budget
manage
part.
that? Sleepless nights, if I had to say something, because every day that that we were behind and we didn't launch was burning a hole into our pockets. Definitely, like you said, it's hard to anticipate a pandemic, a global crisis, especially when you're launching a new product that has not been in the market. But again, I think knowing what people are willing to pay, pricing it, sourcing correctly. Again, the team has been super important on this, because without them mapping the stakeholders for our procurement, we would have been way out of budget, a long while ago. Like I I can't stress enough what gets measured gets managed, right? So if you are daily looking at every aspect of things, it's maybe not so difficult. It's not so difficult to keep on track and in budget. So mapping out your vendors, doing a clear market study of what is it people are willing to pay, what are the costs that these things entail, and how do you fit that into to suit where you're at is something that we used.
Okay, because in the risk management we say that there are known unknown risk and unknown risk. I think unknown risk is a COVID which suddenly happened and then nobody has anticipated and then suddenly the budget went out of control for everyone, and but still you are able to manage it. And then another aspect is of known unknown. That means you know that at this stage you may encounter some kind of difficulty, challenges. Can you just point some of the areas where you think that there were some like known unknown areas, like you were anticipating that here the things can go wrong and actually it went wrong?
I don't even know if I should say this, but I can tell you while the government is stressing on ease of doing business and we are trying to spur women entrepreneurship, but I definitely don't think our banking system has come on track for that. So these are known unknowns, right? Or for that matter, our regulatory authorities as well. So these are known unknowns. We've had to navigate and still navigate these challenges. I just think you take it within its stride, and hope. It's just a question of hope that these will improve, and maybe through this talk, somebody is going to make some changes happen.
Now, maybe we are reaching to the last leg of the interview. So, sort of a last question I would like to ask you is that since now you are launching your product on 15th of August, and so you must have done a lot of preparation for that. But overall, this journey, when you have reached to this journey, how you anticipated that that this will be my market and this will be my product? How you decided that?
I think the pain point for us was at home. My dad, he lost his toe. And unfortunately or fortunately, I shouldn't say
No, my question is a bit different. Like, how you decided that, let us say, why diabetes as the only product?
Because we're the diabetic capital of the world.
Capital of the
So that's what I said. Unfortunately or fortunately, it is the need of the hour. It's very, very upsetting that, the Lancet had made some projections that we would reach 101 million diabetics in 2030, and we're in 2023 and surpassed those figures today. So it is the need of the hour, and we've seen it closely at home. We definitely, like I said, I wanted to make an impact. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be able to help society. Mm-hmm. And what better way than to help in a manner that I had seen very closely in my life. We're going through a youth bulge right now. Our population, but our population is faced with heart attacks of people under the age of 50. So what is the use of this youth bulge if we can't keep ourselves healthy? And therefore, preventive health is the need of the hour.
Last question on, especially since you are a woman entrepreneur, okay? So, nowadays the entire country and the trust is to make women entrepreneur more prominent, because we have, and then Indian government is also doing a lot of things, but you are actually, you yourself sort of a role model for that. What message you would like to give to any aspiring woman entrepreneur and what they should do?
You're going to face ageism, you're going to face sexism. Yes, we are all trying to close the gender gap. Yes, we all want to be in top leadership positions. But can you change mindset overnight? You can't. But what you can do is change your own, which is be focused on your goal, be consistent, and just be passionate about what you want. Stay on track. Know that this is not a sprint, it is a marathon. So there are going to be hurdles that will come your way. The question is, how are you standing up and continuing towards your goal? Because for me, a winner is just a loser who tried one more time. So passionate, be consistent and be persistent and go after what you want. It's okay what people are going to talk anyway, right?
Yeah, that's that's very important. I think just to sum up that what Pooja just mentioned is that once you have the idea in mind, it is very important to set up the detailed planning of any project, uh, uh, bring the team, assign the roles to them, and once the plan is decided, start measuring the progress, which is I think the very important takeaway from this discussion. That measuring is everything. So you measure and then you can get the results. So decide the milestone, start measuring. Also identify the uncertain areas, sort of risk management where you can go wrong. Keep working towards that. And then she also mentioned about what are the challenges typical women entrepreneurs are facing, but then don't give up. Just like once you are convinced, that just go ahead. Whatever happens, just ensure that you are achieving that target. I think Pooja, that was a very important message you have given to the especially women entrepreneur and to all our project professionals who are watching this program. And then I'm very sure this is because this yours was a very different profile on this show. Typically on our shows, or most of the audience, the all the till now all were the seasoned project professional, but you were having the youngest woman entrepreneur, but I think you were able to give a lot of good insight to the project professionals. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're helping me break barriers already with your show. So another thing I would say is grab opportunities. When you asked, I said yes. So
Yeah, thank you so
you.
much. Thank you. Bye.